Welcome to the Yeah We Know podcast, part of the Morgan You Know podcasting network. You're in the ring with Jimmy and Rod. Rod, what are you hot about today?
Hot about? Jimmy, how could I be hot about anything, my friend? This is Mania week. If there's anything that us wrestling podcasters get up in the morning and read all of the stuff online and get in the chat rooms to yell with other fans about, it's WrestleMania, baby. Let's go. Let's do this. I'm not hot about anything except for the fact that my predictions are probably going to end up being terrible. But that's it. Other than that, I'm excited.
Of course they are, and we're going to bring in a couple other people later in the show to do some predictions with us, just to prove how much we don't know. But we've got a few things to review here. First of all, let's get this out of the way. Triple H comes out and retires on Stephen A. Smith's show on ESPN Plus, basically saying, "Well, I have a defibrillator in my chest. I don't think I can really wrestle anymore." What are your thoughts on Triple H calling it quits?
That's a bummer, right? I'm somebody who's here for the old guy pops, right? Like, give me the old guy coming back and taking a couple of bumps, and I'm always here for it. Just wait for when we talk about Stone Cold at WrestleMania later in the podcast. But it was a bummer. But at the same time, right, you want Triple H to do what's best for him, right? And perhaps now that Vince can't, say, hey, Triple H, we need to pull you out of the bullpen for this storyline, maybe, just maybe, he can start to wrestle the reins creatively and do more cool things at WWE, right, Jim?
Well, he did a great job in NXT, and you see what they did to him with that. So, yeah, I think he'll do a lot of behind the scenes work, and really glad that he didn't die, because apparently that was a lot closer than we all thought it was going to be. And I think he's got 3 daughters, a wife, and he's still relatively young. So, yeah, really, really sad to see him go. I really think he does a great job on camera. So we gotta watch that heart. Maybe we don't want to put him on camera too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think also we just did the Rushmore episode, and as I listened back to that great episode, and if somehow you're listening to this podcast and you didn't listen to our Rushmore episode, just go a few back and listen to that. But Triple H's name didn't come up an awful lot in that, and he's somebody, frankly, that I think is probably underrated throughout the history of time a little bit, isn't he, Jim?
I think so. A lot of people give him the whole he married into the family type thing, but he really is good, and he's proven himself time and time again. He always had really good matches, and then also obviously afterwards in the executive role, bringing in different people. He brought in all the really good workers in NXT, went out on a limb. So yeah, I think while it's one of those things, kind of like the NBA MVP, where this guy needs to be in the discussion. Well, but he's like 17th. So yeah, he can be, but he's not going to be in the top 4. He's no Chris Jericho, Rod.
Yes, exactly. Man, you beat me to it, Jimmy. It's like we've been podcasting together for such a while. But I think, like, the other thing that I loved about Triple H is he was one of those guys, right? And sure, The Undertaker with his gimmick, it was always easy for him to lean bad guy, right? But just something about Triple H's personality, like, he was always going to be a bad guy, right? Like, just something about that guy, right? Even going back to when he was Hunter Hearst Helmsley,
fantastic.
Just
yes.
The blue blood, you know what I mean? Like, just something about the way that guy could just a nonverbal look from Triple H was one of his best assets, and such a flashy, I got to be out in front making a big deal about everything. Just a look from Triple H. Perhaps that's why he doesn't get enough respect.
And then, when he was in DX, he was kind of a cool bad guy, but still a bad guy. And then when he took over DX after Michaels lost the championship to Austin, that's really when he started to ascend even more. So Triple H, wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors, which will be WWE related still, so he's not going too far. But we have to talk about a few things here on Raw is Interviews, Rod. We had Raw a couple days ago, and listen, I get it that it's the Raw before WrestleMania. You don't want people to get hurt. Not everyone is on WrestleMania, but Rod, they had so many interviews. If I'm a paying fan and I go to see that, in fact, Jackson and I and Izzy were watching, and I said, this is why I don't take you to Raw, because you don't want to see this. This is boring to you. You want to see house shows and things like that, but this was ridiculous, dude.
You know what? I honestly feel it seemed like the Pittsburgh crowd was getting a little restless by the end anyway, right? Like, I feel like they were kind of like, oh, okay, we're here for Raw, and like, we're all wrestling fans here, but you're even asking a little much from us. And the other one that got me is, why are you going to show the Seth Rollins video all over social media hours earlier, only to then just show the complete video all over again on Raw? Like, just hold it for Raw at that point. If you're going to have it take up that much time during Raw, don't release it on social media. So that was that completely fell flat. And then just, you talk about this so often, and on a show like this, though, it was the recapping, right? I mean, how many minutes did we lose just to recapping, let alone guys in the ring talking, but just to recapping? It was brutal. But we've talked many times about how Raw can be brutal and 3 hours is too much. So here's yet another case of us being proven right in the WWE not caring.
Yeah, and congratulations, your boy made it to WrestleMania, Rod.
Right? I was going to say we better not.
All you had to do was ask. All you had to do was ask.
Which okay, I mean, okay.
What the hell is going on, dude?
Ultimately, though, I got rose-colored glasses on when it comes to the Visionary, so there's just no way I'm going to break bad about anything involving him. And clearly, I mean, if all of the rumors out there are to be believed, right, he's fighting Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, so it's going to be a big deal, right?
It should be a pretty big deal, and I think that's going to be great. It's night one, so we don't have to wait too long. A couple other things that happened on Raw. We had a returning Bobby Lashley, which I believe you fell off your couch when that happened. Is that correct?
I did. Unfortunately, as so often with Raw, I can watch it better when I get home from work on a Tuesday afternoon. So you've grown accustomed to just receiving Raw texts from me on late Tuesday.
At a random Tuesday. Yeah. Dude, what happened here?
But I did. Bob Lashley's music cracked out of nowhere on a complete boring Omos segment. Like, man, tough look for the Viking Raiders.
What is going on? Why do they hate the Viking Raiders so much?
Because it was just a lariat. You know what I mean? Omos didn't even do one of his
clotheslined him. He's dead.
Yeah. Oh, it was such a rough look for the Viking Raiders. But then Bob Lashley's music popped, Jimmy, and I absolutely went nuts. I used to speak so illy of Bob Lashley on this podcast and say that I didn't see it. And all he did was prove that consistency will get you to a certain level, right? It probably won't get you to the tip top, and it probably won't get you to Mount Rushmore. But if you're consistent and fans know they can count on you, you're going to get that kind of pop just by returning. And fans were excited to see Bob Lashley, but I don't know how excited we're going to be to see a Bob Lashley versus Omos at WrestleMania match.
We're going to talk about that here in a few minutes with Chris King when he comes on. We'll preview the entire card. Two more things we need to talk about on Raw. My boy Ricochet, Rod, finally got a big win, Intercontinental Champion, kind of out of nowhere. And how many times has he lost since he's gotten that belt? 3, 4. Austin Theory beat him in a minute and like 9 seconds.
Vince McMahon's protege, Austin Theory. Jimmy, come on, show some respect to his gimmick.
So Lance Storm was on a podcast recently, and he mentioned this, and it really does hold true. If Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, the winner of that match, if they are going to be the champion, you need to elevate the other two, the U.S. title and the Intercontinental title. You know how you don't elevate that, Rod? You don't elevate it by having the guy lose in a minute and 5 seconds, 15 seconds. You don't elevate them by not having them on WrestleMania. I did not like this. They could have had anybody else in the back come out and do that. But no, Theory had to beat Ricochet for some reason.
The only positive it looks for Ricochet at this point is their non-title matches. So, I mean, I guess he's never going to lose the Intercontinental Championship belt, even though he continues to lose. So, I mean, that's like a positive for Ricochet, I guess.
I like that. I think that's a good idea. He's the champion on a 15-match losing streak. I think that's really good. It's going to get him over with the fans.
We know the WWE loves firsts, right? I mean, why not have Ricochet be the first ever 15 straight losing Intercontinental Champion in the history of the WWE? Pat Patterson, the first ever Intercontinental Champion, would be proud.
And Ricochet's the last. And then finally we had, we had a Kevin Owens promo that, Kevin Owens has done a great job. This Austin and Owens thing is going to be the main event of night one, which is just unprecedented. But sometimes I forget that there is a lapse in your wrestling knowledge. And you asked me a question before, and I was stunned that you did not know that. So what is your question?
Yeah, let's bring back a popular segment, right? Our faithful listeners, and you guys are going to have to excuse us for a second here. You know about this, but those that are just coming on board, and bless you. I have a big gap in my wrestling knowledge, and from time to time I have to ask Jimmy to catch me up on something. So early on, Jimmy used to give me a maximum number of 3 questions per podcast, but I've caught up on so much stuff I haven't had to do it recently, but one came up for me. What is going on with what? And it sounds like an Evan Costello bit that I'm doing right now. And I always knew it was associated with Stone Cold Steve Austin. I don't know how it came about. I don't know if when fans do it to other wrestlers, it's intended to mock the person, make fun of the person, And I just feel like we're going to hear more about it at WrestleMania because KO spent the majority of his second Austin promo on Raw this week using that as his spine. So, Jimmy, catch me up on what you can quickly here. What do I need to know about what?
In August of 2001, the wrestling world changed for the worse forever. Stone Cold Steve Austin started a promo, and he did a promo, and he would ask things, he would say things, and he would have the word "what" after it. So I'm going to kick his butt. What? I'm going to drink some beer. What? I'm going to stun him. What? And he would do that, and the fans went along with it. And ever since that day, Rod, ever since that day, every promo, everything, all the time, when people get bored, when people don't like somebody, when people just want to do it for the heck of it, they will say "what" after a wrestler talks. So it's not really even aimed at the wrestler necessarily in the ring when they're talking. It's just kind of what you do as a WWE fan. And I hate it. The wrestlers hate it. Roman Reigns hated it.
I was gonna say that's where it came up as well. Roman Reigns was not very happy and was trying his hardest to do his promo and the best he could to not give him a chance to do it.
And Kevin Owens obviously took it and just ran with it, and it worked very well for him because he's in the match with Austin. But yeah, this has been a plague, honestly, on the industry for since 2001. People can't get through interviews. They can't get through their promos that they want to do. Even some really good promos, like the Reigns one was good, but it was the fans saying, "All right, we're bored. We want to do something. We're gonna what this person," and that's kind of what that came from.
I sort of assumed that that's what we were doing. It was a bit of a yada yada, let's move on type deal out of the fans, but thank you very much for catching me up on that. I appreciate it.
All right, we are going to be back in just a minute with Chris King coming on the Yeah We Know podcast at Yeah We Know Pod, yeahweknowpod@gmail.com. Give us your WrestleMania predictions because Chris King is going to give us his, and he hasn't watched wrestling in a very long time, so this will be entertaining.
He's going to be so much better than us.
All right, we are back on the Yeah We Know podcast. You're in the ring with Jimmy, Hot Rod, and our good friend from North Carolina, Chris King. How are you, Chris?
Hey, Jimmy. How's it going?
It's going great. This does not have anything to do with basketball. Has nothing to do with football.
Nope.
I think you can actually gamble on it, but I don't know why you would gamble on the WWE. But I hear you're a huge wrestling fan, and you've watched wrestling religiously for, how long now?
I think you've been misinformed.
Oh.
I haven't watched wrestling religiously since the Attitude Era.
Okay, so you're kind of where Rod was, but now Rod is smartened up, and he's back to where he needs to be. So you haven't watched wrestling for a while. We're going to have you do some predictions just because we think it'll be funny when you get them right and we get ours wrong. But you have watched wrestling in the past. So what are a couple of your favorite WrestleMania memories?
So really one of my favorite memories, and this goes back to the Attitude Era, and it's one of my favorite storylines ever, and it was back with Linda McMahon when...
Okay, all right.
Vince was getting mad and wanted to divorce her, and she had a mental breakdown, and she was comatose for months, it seemed like.
Yep.
Vince,
she sat still. Yep, okay.
Vince had his little dalliance with Trish Stratus.
Oh, God.
And then
What a dirt ball. What a dirt ball.
Come WrestleMania, she pops up out of the chair and just kicks him right in the nads. It was a great moment in WrestleMania history.
Yeah, Vince's face, man. Vince really sold that one, dude. That was a great moment.
Oh, my goodness. Anything else, Chris, before we move on to our predictions for WrestleMania 38?
So I know a lot of people, and like people who listen to Balls and Brew know I'm rather old, and a lot of people will go back to WrestleMania 3 as like the big WrestleMania that really got people up in arms. You know, it was the Silver Dome. You had Hulk versus Andre the Giant. But really, it was WrestleMania 4 that really got me a little bit hooked. And that was Macho Man Randy Savage one-night tournament. Yeah. One man. We're going, 6 matches that night to win the WWF Championship belt?
Macho Champ, baby. Macho
something
Champ.
like that. Yeah, that was a good. I like that pay-per-view a lot. A lot of people don't because some of the matches were weird. But, yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, that was great.
Grandfather
great
Clock. Thank you.
On point. Macho Man Randy Savage solidified himself in WWF lore that night.
Yes,
I think
that's
it's
great. You're old. We all know that you're old. Chris, here's what I would like to ask you real quick as we go into WrestleMania. This is the WWE's biggest moment. This is when they try to get their most media exposure. They hope that their word can spread far and wide to people who aren't marks like Jimmy and I and watching every week. How much about this WrestleMania did you know about coming in? Is there anything that has leaked its way into your everyday life that you were like, oh, that's coming up at WrestleMania? Cool.
Pat McAfee is fighting in WrestleMania this year.
That is correct. Yes.
That brings someone like me. I mean, from Indiana, Colts fan, Pat McAfee fan. Some of the work that he's doing during his radio show for wrestling has been phenomenal. I love crossover events. Just another great WrestleMania moment was when Mike Tyson knocked out the HBK. And so I love crossovers where you have these non-wrestling celebrities come in, and I think McAfee's been doing a really good job. I haven't seen much on television, but I've seen the work he does in his radio booth.
So, Jimmy, is Chris our Johnny Knoxville or our Logan Paul?
Oh, he's Johnny Knoxville. I like him way too much to call him Logan Paul. I'm sorry. I can't even joke about it. I literally cannot joke about that at all. No joke at all. Sorry.
But you understand what I'm saying there, though, right? Like the WWE's pulling those two guys in to trying to get other listeners, which we're shamelessly doing here by pulling Chris in. But we're also setting ourselves up to be made fun of when Chris gets way more of these predictions right than us.
Yeah, Chris has we call them the Chrisaholics. They really like to tweet at him, even though he does not have Twitter. So that's kind of well, anyway, it says something about your fans, I guess, Chris. But yeah, I think we're going to get a lot of people listening to this one from you for sure. So let's talk about WrestleMania 38. We have two nights. It's not night 1 and night 2. Oh, no. It's WrestleMania Saturday night and WrestleMania Sunday night. My first prediction is the Iron Sheik will finally make it to the ring. If you know, you know. And yeah, I know. At WrestleMania At WrestleMania X7, Chris, Iron Sheik was walking to the ring in a battle royal, like a Legends battle royal, and he was not moving very good then. And Bobby Heenan, who was on commentary, said, at this rate, he's going to make it to the ring by WrestleMania 38. So hopefully we see him. It's something you can definitely look on YouTube there. But night 1. All right, so we're going to go to Chris first for all of these because we want an unbiased prediction from Chris, and then Rod and I will talk about these matches one by one. Let's start it at one of the top matches billed that was supposed to be the main event. It's not the main event anymore. They got moved over by a talk show segment. Charlotte Flair's the champion versus Ronda Rousey for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Chris, Charlotte Flair, the Queen, Ronda Rousey, the baddest woman on the planet. Who you got?
So from what I know, Flair is the queen of the WWF now, right?
WWE, but yes, it's been a while since you've watched. I know. Yep.
I don't know. I would not be able to tell you if she is a heel or not. I would think that maybe Ronda Rousey be a bit more of a heel in this situation, so I think Flair comes out on top.
You think Charlotte Flair, Rod's number 1 female wrestler of all time. She is the queen. You think she's going to win? Rod, you think Charlotte Flair is going to continue her dominance over Ronda Rousey? Or is Ronda Rousey going to take out Charlotte Flair?
I've gone back and forth on this, and where I'm ultimately going to land is completely not surprising anybody. I'm marking for the Queen here. I think Charlotte Flair is actually going to mop her up. I really do. I think the storyline,
mop her up.
I really do. I think the storyline they are going to tell moving forward is they're going to continue to just have Charlotte Flair just roll people the way that they. I mean, honestly, you know as well as I do, the WWE likes to repeat stuff. How well has it gone for them on the men's side with Roman Reigns just rolling people? Why not keep it going with Charlotte Flair? They're on the same show after all.
Yeah, I'm not sure on this because I'm not sure what Ronda Rousey's schedule is, what her contract is moving forward. I'm gonna go with Ronda Rousey here. I think she's gonna beat Charlotte Flair at Mania, have a huge crowning moment, and then go into the summer really just running over people to build up for a huge SummerSlam with maybe even a rematch with Charlotte Flair. But I think Ronda Rousey takes this one.
All right, we're against one another already, Jimmy.
I like it. In a match I'm looking to a lot more forward than the Flair and Rousey match. We've got Becky Lynch.
How dare you talk that way about the Queen?
Becky Lynch is the champion versus Bianca Belair. We'll get into a little bit more detail after Chris makes his pick. Chris, Becky Lynch, champion. Bianca Belair, challenger. Who you got?
So if I'm right, Lynch has the red hair right now.
Oh God, yes, she does. Yes, this is fantastic. This is actually great. I love. So Lynch is the Irish one, right? Yes, Chris, she is.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't trust women with red hair. If people know out there, sometimes I think gingers are soulless. And
God!
I think she takes this match. I don't think she can be beaten.
Oh, so the woman with no soul is going to defeat Bianca Belair, is what you're saying then?
That's right.
She is a mother. No, anyway, so Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair. Rod, on Raw, we saw something happen that I didn't think we were going to see happen. Becky Lynch took out the biggest pair of scissors I've ever seen, besides Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
I was about to say, shout out Brutus.
To try to cut Bianca's hair, and by the way, I don't know if that would have still worked, but then Bianca cuts Becky's hair, and Becky is not very happy, although on Instagram today she says, I even look better now, thanks. I think we're going to see some scissors here again. Lynch or Belair, who you got, Rod?
I'm going EST. I like the redemption angle here. We haven't really had Bianca and Becky lock horns ever since the whole WWE community. There's very few things that the whole WWE community rises up in one voice, and none of us were happy with what went down to the EST at SummerSlam when Becky Lynch came back, which we were all happy about, but we just didn't understand why in 12 seconds Bianca Belair has to lose her title to Becky Lynch, and they haven't locked horns since then. Give me the EST redemption.
Yeah, I like that too. I think Bianca Belair definitely comes back and wins this match. I think this could be the match of the show, depending on when it's at. Becky Lynch matches to start off the show are usually a little bit better than they are,
Bianca's
halfway,
getting better and better too, Jim. She can work so well, man. She's capable of so many things that, and I don't mean this to sound bad, but so many of the other women just can't do. Bianca can do some moves that some of the other women just can't do, so I'm way looking forward to what she might pull off at WrestleMania.
I'm really excited about that. She's really good. Chris, what are your thoughts on Bianca Belair's recent performances?
Well, I wouldn't be able to tell you because I have not seen them. But I am curious because I believe Brutus the Barber Beefcake really got his start as the barber on WrestleMania, did he not? Wasn't that the first match that he came out and ended up cutting somebody's hair? Was it in a WrestleMania match?
Yes, WrestleMania 3. Adrian Adonis lost to Roddy Piper in Roddy Piper's final match. I believe he continued to wrestle for another 20 years after that. But yeah, he came out and cut, and then that was kind of starting the gimmick there at WrestleMania, so we're bringing that back a little bit. Speaking of gimmicks and gimmick matches, we have Rey and Dominic Mysterio versus The Miz and Logan Paul. Chris, does this have any interest to you whatsoever? Are you a Logan Paul guy?
No, I am not a Logan Paul guy. I am not a Jake Paul guy. And he's fighting with The Miz, is that correct?
Yes, it's a tag team match. It's Logan Paul and The Miz against Rey Mysterio and his son Dominic Mysterio.
Oh, give me Mysterio. I love Rey Mysterio. So give me Rey and his son to kick the ever-living crap out of The Miz and Paul.
All right. I think I agree with you on that one. I actually see The Miz taking the pin here and maybe Logan Paul trying to be made a babyface. But everyone hates Logan Paul, so I don't think that's going to work, but I still think they're going to try. But I do have Rey and Dominic winning this one. Rod, what do you think?
Give me The Miz and Paul.
How dare you?
I'm not saying anything else about the match because I'm not going to say anything bad about my guy, The Miz. You're just not going to get me to do that. And so I'm just not going to say anything more about the match other than picking Miz and Paul.
Consistency is key with you, Rod. I do appreciate it tremendously. We move on to Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin with Madcap Moss. Drew McIntyre and Happy Corbin haven't wrestled one-on-one. They've sure wrestled in a lot of tag team and handicap and whatever matches recently. But who you got, Chris? Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin.
I don't think I really don't think I can bet against a guy named Happy. I don't know why.
Rod, I want to
What says wrestler more than happy?
Happy Corbin.
And they leave it to the WWE to give somebody like Happy Corbin a win in WrestleMania.
He's kind of undefeated, but not with his finisher, End of Days. But, Rod, who you got in this Drew McIntyre, Happy Corbin? You better say Drew McIntyre.
Give me the Scottish Warrior. I mean, Lord help our listeners if Drew McIntyre gets beat by Happy Corbin at WrestleMania, right? Because, I mean, as far as long-term storytelling, which you tell us all the WWE's terrible at anyway, but as far as that goes, if you have Drew McIntyre get beat by Happy Corbin here, how can he ever be possibly the next guy to challenge Roman Reigns?
That's the thing. They really do need to bring him up, and he needs to be the next challenger. So, yeah, I think Drew McIntyre wins this in a relatively – I mean, they might get 6 to 7 minutes, honestly, but relatively short match there.
It'll be kind of cool in spots because, listen, I'm not saying much about Happy here, but as far as, like, power moves and, like, looks cool on camera, he can do a few of those. So, yeah, I agree with you that we'll see a decent little grapple for a bit.
So, the New Day – versus Ridge Holland and Sheamus with Butch in the corner because, of course, Ridge Holland almost killed Big E, broke his neck. We've got New Day versus Ridge Holland and Sheamus. Chris, I have a feeling I know where you're going to go on this one. Who you got?
Sheamus? Is that what you thought? I can't bet against
You
Sheamus.
can't bet against a redhead, right?
Right.
Because he has no soul. Redheads, as we know, are soulless.
They have no soul, and they will get the job done.
Give me them too. I just the New Day basically, as I've seen, everybody loves the New Day, but the New Day exists to get beat. So give me Sheamus and Ridge as well.
Is there going to be a Big E sighting?
Probably, but he better not be taking any bumps. But I wouldn't.
He would never do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt him showing up and getting a pop though.
The only thing with that is I don't think he can probably fly right now, so it might be a pre-taped thing. So I'm gonna do Ridge Holland and Sheamus on this one as well. I think.
Look at that! That's our first clean sweep, boys. So that means clearly the New Day's gonna win.
No question at all. We have the Usos versus Shinsuke Nakamura and who's the other guy, Rod?
You mean Rick Boogs?
For the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, Nakamura had to get the IC title off of him so they could put him in this match. Usos have we'll talk to Chris. Chris, who you got? The Usos versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs.
Shinsuke. I think Nakamura got. See, I can't even say his name. I think they're going to give him a win no matter who his partner is.
Well, Michael Cole just says Shin moving forward, so you could just say Shin if you'd like.
All right, Shin.
So you think Shin is going to win. Rod, who you got, Usos or Shinsuke and Rick Boogs?
Well, let me just first say shout out to Rick Boogs for getting himself a pretty high-profile match here at WrestleMania. Other than Johnny Knoxville and Bad Bunny, who were already stars in their own right, it's the only babyface the WWE has created in the past year. So shout out to Boogs there. But I really don't know if Shinsuke Nakamura, who I always say on this very podcast, is essentially only a wrestler that exists for his intro right now, and Rick Boogs, a guy who's a guitar-playing Freddie Mercury wannabe, are going to stop the Usos tag team title reign that they have only recently decided to start telling us how many days it has lasted. So give me the Bloodline, give me the Ones, give me the Usos.
Okay, let's move on to a very
Who'd you take? Who'd you take?
Oh, did I not take anybody? Usos. Usos are going to win this one. Yeah, I agree with you on that one. So Chris is going to beat us on that one as well.
Yes, he is.
Anticipated match. Chris, we have Seth freaking Rollins versus somebody. He will find out when Seth is in the ring. They're going to announce his opponent. Chris, who do you have? Seth Rollins winning this or
literally anybody else. Whoever it is. Whoever it is.
Whoa, Chris,
Whoa.
you know what you're doing right now? I hope you know what you're doing right now. You were wading into dangerous waters, my friend.
Bring it.
You were talking to a man who, as we speak right now, recording this episode in honor of WrestleMania, are wearing Seth Rollins visionary sunglasses along with my Seth Rollins Monday Night Rollins t-shirt. I am the #1 Seth Rollins fanboy. You were a guest on my podcast along with Jimmy, and you're going to come on here and down talk my guy Seth Rollins. Chris, I don't know if you're going to be allowed to continue with your picks right now. You better calm down, my friend.
Listen, if I see a WrestleMania match that has a TBA next to it, that means they are trying to do something big. And when they're trying to do something big, you never know what kind of storyline is going to pop out. That's why I think it's going to be whoever comes in and fights Rollins.
Jimmy, I told you the boy was smart because he basically just hit the nail right on the head there, didn't he?
Yes, he did. So, Rod, who's going to win, and who is the opponent going to be?
Well, unfortunately, my guy Seth is going to probably lose to Cody Rhodes at this point, right? Because the WWE has gotten huge, behind the scenes gossip, and they finally got a win versus AEW with Cody Rhodes coming to WWE. So they better have him be a big deal. So he certainly can't lose in his match at WrestleMania. So I think Seth Rollins is going to be playing good soldier here and getting Cody Rhodes over, right?
So I think this is what happens. I think McMahon comes out and says, your opponent is, here comes the money. Shane McMahon comes out.
Nice. I would love that anyway. Let's do it.
People get, fires start to be lit in Texas, okay? But then he reveals that he's the special guest referee, okay? Then they bring out Cody Rhodes as the American Nightmare, and Cody Rhodes comes in. I think they need to have a 12 to 15 minute match. They really do. I don't know how they're going to fit that in, but I think they're going to have a really solid matchup, and Cody Rhodes will get the win for sure.
Well, we should talk about that, though. I mean, are we looking at 4 hours each night? I mean, is that what
yes.
we're looking at?
100%. Oh, it's 4 hours each night. Yeah, 100%.
Well, then there you go. Then they got plenty. They got all the time in the world then, because I mean, you
got to do all the video packages, Rod. There's going to be an hour and a half of video packages. There's going to be an hour and a half of video packages, brother. I'm sorry there is. You got to recap everything for everybody who's watching this show.
But you know what? That's going to help our guy Chris, because I should mention this right now because you gave me the great intro there. We're all going to have Chris watch as much of WrestleMania as he can, and then we're going to get him to report back to us on what an outsider's thought on WrestleMania was, Jimmy. So this is a 2-part special appearance by our guy Chris King.
That's
right.
That's
amazing. That's amazing. I thought you were going to kick him off because he hates Seth freaking Rollins.
Well, he's treading thin ice actually right now. You're right. Thank you for reminding me that his second part of this is TBD. We'll see how he recovers with this next pick.
We've got the KO show with Kevin Owens and Steve Austin as the main event in WrestleMania. Chris, how many stunners do we see, and how many beer cans do we see? That is your prediction. Stunners and beer cans.
How many beer cans do we see, or how many beer cans get emptied?
That's a good question. That's a good distinction.
Caught and emptied. Caught and emptied.
Okay. Beers that are caught and emptied, I'm going to set it at 8.
Okay.
Wow. That's a big number.
And then stunners, I'm going to say 3.
3 stunners, 8 beers. Rod, thoughts?
My thoughts are I love all of those predictions from Chris. As folks know from the Balls and Brew podcast, he's a big-time gambling man these days. Him and Josh Williams are always thick with the stats, so I love that he just filled his bill right there. But my question is, are we going to see a legitimate bump from Stone Cold Steve Austin? Because call me crazy here, Jimmy, but if Stone Cold takes a real, legitimate, actual bump or two, this then becomes a lot more special to me, right? This is something I can point to that was a little bit closer to a match, a little bit like, yeah, remember WrestleMania 38 when Stone Cold showed up and it was this thing, and not just the same kind of deal, which we could see him do anytime, come out and stun somebody because that does nothing to him and then pour beers all over him. If that's all it is, I got to be honest, as exciting as I am to see Stone Cold, I'll be a little bit disappointed because we could have seen that, and they gave us this huge, huge buildup for anything we could have seen. But if he takes a bump or two, then I'm going to be like, this was something.
I think he's going to take a bump or two. I do not think they would make this the main event if not. I mean, they would put the second to last maybe, but not the main event. You've got to do a little bit more than that. Owens has to get cocky. Owens has to turn around, start talking, then Austin stands up behind him. Owens turns around, double middle finger, big stunner, and we go home happy. So I'm thinking, Chris, your 3 stunners and 8 beers. I'm going to go over 8 beers. The over on that one is plus 225. I don't know what that means, but and then I will go. I think we're gonna see 2 stunners and over 8 beers.
Let's hope so, and then we'll all go home happy on Saturday night because the Rattlesnake will be back in the building. The only thing that would make it better is if somehow they could get special dispensation to have Jim Ross call his entrance.
That of all the things in the world that will happen, that would not one of them, but that would be really cool to do that. So now we got to move on to Sunday, dude. We're only halfway done with this WrestleMania. We've got night 2 on WrestleMania, and some of these matches might flip back and forth. The Edge and AJ match, I think, has flipped back and forth 3 times now. But let's start with Lashley and Omos. It's the newest match on the card. Chris, we've got Lashley, we've got Omos. Who you got in this one?
Lashley.
You think Lashley's going to defeat the undefeated monster Omos? Okay, Rod. So Chris sees Lashley. He sees Omos. He says Lashley's got to win this. What are your thoughts on that?
I would love for that to be the case because as we talked about before Chris joined us, I am now a Bobby Lashley stan. But here's the deal: you absolutely cannot have Omos lose to Bobby Lashley at this point. If you're giving me Omos as much as the WWE is giving me Omos recently, and if you want me to believe him as some sort of big, huge, indestructible force that I'm to care about in the future, he can't lose to Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania 38. As much as I love Bobby Lashley, and as tough of a look as it is for Bob just coming back from injury to get smashed by Omos at WrestleMania 38, I think that's what has to happen.
I agree completely. I think Omos has to go through Lashley. I think he has to go through a couple other big names, and then they have to have someone big beat him. And no, not Brock Lesnar. I'm thinking someone young. I'm thinking maybe a Gable Steveson, in one of his first matches.
Look at you stealing my gimmick.
I think that would be a good idea. But if Omos loses to Lashley, they need to be done with Omos or put him in a tag team with somebody else other than AJ Styles.
Put him in a tag team with Commander Aziz.
Yes, why not? Speaking of Edge and AJ Styles, we've talked about it already. We'll talk about it now here. I think this could be the best match of the weekend if they do it right, if they give it enough time, if they give it correct placement on the card. Edge versus AJ Styles. Chris, who you got?
Are there ladders involved?
There are not ladders involved. Edge will never do another match like that again. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I still wanna. I still kind of want to lean towards Edge. I'm gonna take Edge.
This is going to be the best match of the weekend, Jimmy. This is going to be better than the Reigns-Lesnar match.
As far as wrestling, yes. As far as everything around it, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know.
I mean, I'm as excited as you are to see these two legends lock horns, right? And I know that these guys, as far as the sweet science, right? Like, these guys are the best at it. I get all of that, but listen, the gimmick that they are playing with this match is how I honestly feel, right? You tell me AJ Styles is this great guy, but I've not seen it out of him recently, right? So this gimmick that they're playing up for this match, I hope that AJ Styles brings me something. That's my wish for this match. AJ Styles, show me what everybody tells me you are.
That's why you put this on first on night 2 and not 4th. That's why you put it first. So who you got, Rod? AJ or Edge?
I'm going to go with AJ.
Yeah, I think
Sight unseen. Sight unseen. The AJ Styles that everybody tells me exists. I'm just picking him.
All right, AJ Styles and Edge there. Then we're going to go to Carmella and Queen Zelina are the tag team champions versus Sasha Banks and Naomi versus Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan versus Natalya and Shayna Baszler for the Women's Tag Team Championship. Chris, that was a lot of names that you don't know. Who's going to win that one?
So there's actually a couple of names I'm actually familiar with, unfortunately, because there's some sort of reality diva show, I guess. So I'm going to take Naomi and Sasha Banks.
The boss.
Wow. Okay. Naomi and Sasha winning that one. All right. I like your theory behind that. They've both been on reality show, or Naomi's been on a reality show. Sasha Banks was a Mandalorian. Okay. I like that. Rod, who you got?
Can I just say anybody but Queen Zelina and Carmella, please? Like, I know that Corey Graves and Carmella have the new reality show on YouTube that they want to try to hype, and I love Corey Graves, and like, okay, they're getting married and there's storylines that can be there, but like, I'm sick of seeing Carmella and Queen Zelina on my TV screen. You know who I'm not sick of seeing on my TV screen? Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. These two have something. Let Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan cook. I'm just going to completely fanboy here and pick Rhea Ripley.
Whoa, interesting. All right.
Yeah,
okay.
Right. Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. I'm just going to completely fanboy and pick them because that's who I want to win.
Okay, Carmella and Queen Zelina are totally winning for all the reasons you mentioned. No one wants to see them, so that's why they're going to win. I've got Carmella and Queen Zelina winning this one for some reason.
You're such a hater.
I just think that's going to happen. I don't know why. I just think it's going to happen. Chris, Sami Zayn and Johnny Knoxville. Johnny Knoxville has made Sami Zayn's life a living hell by giving out his phone number, and Sami Zayn, listen, it's not his shoot phone number. We understand that. Yeah, we know. But it is a phone number, and Sami Zayn has the phone, and it's hilarious to see how many things have gone through. So, Chris, who you got? Sami Zayn or Johnny Knoxville?
Johnny Knoxville is the guy who was on Jackass on MTV. I'm not just in case you weren't sure who he was.
MTV is where they play music videos.
I'm sorry, but I don't know what you're talking about.
Maybe you saw him in the Dukes of Hazzard remake with Jessica Simpson and Sean William Scott.
I know Johnny Knoxville from The Ringer and Men in Black 2. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
The Ringer's such an underrated movie. Such an underrated movie.
So,
did we get ice cream? Sorry. You scratched it on purpose. You scratched my CD on purpose. Anyway,
I think you got to take Sami Zayn, right? I mean, Knoxville's there to get thrown around and beat up. So let Sami get his revenge.
All right, Sami Zayn winning for you. I'm going to take Johnny Knoxville in this one. I think he gets the win, and it just throws Sami Zayn into more of a tailspin than he already is. Rod, who you got?
I second that emotion, to quote the great Smokey Robinson.
Nice. In a match that Chris is looking forward to because it's the only person he recognizes on the show, Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory in a huge match really for both individuals. Pat McAfee is not going to be a full-time wrestler, but he comes in and he's done a great job in NXT in the past. But Austin Theory, now's your time, bud. If you want people to care about you, this is it. Chris, who you got?
Pat McAfee. I don't know who Austin Theory is. I think Pat McAfee is a great ringside announcer. I think he puts solid emotion in there. The few little clips I have seen, I definitely do, like I said before, enjoy the work he does on his radio show. So I'm going to go with Pat McAfee. He's a man.
All right, Rod. Pat McAfee, Austin Theory. Grudge match of all grudge matches. Who you got?
I'm going to drop a little quick nugget here for the folks.
Sure.
The Press Box podcast from the Ringer Podcast Network had an interview with Michael Cole this week. That is a cool interview all about how to call professional wrestling or sports entertainment, as Michael Cole calls it. But he dropped a cool nugget in there that Pat McAfee knows no results of any matches that he calls because he says he wants it that way. And that's how he gets a lot of that fan and emotion out because he, unlike everybody else making the television show, has no idea how it's supposed to end.
Oh, a quick question, too. Is Pat going to be wrestling in his jorts, tank top, and Miami Vice jacket?
I don't think he'll have the Miami Vice jacket on, but I think he'll have a tank top on and some wrestling spandex on, yeah.
I think it'll be jorts.
Okay. He might. Who you got, Rod?
Austin Theory.
Yeah, I think Austin Theory has to win this if they want to do anything with him. So, well, Chris is going to be right again. And then we have a match that could also open the show. I think it's going to another one of the matches that could be the match of the weekend. RK Bro versus the Street Profits versus Alpha Academy. Chris, who you got in this triple threat tag team championship match?
So this is a complete toss-up for me.
But you should know Randy Orton.
Unlike all the other ones.
Forever.
Listen, I know who Randy Orton is, all right? But, you can't call yourself RK Bro and expect me to root for you.
Oh, God.
And then the Street Profits versus Alpha Academy sounds like a nerdy West Side Story. So give me AA. Give me Alpha Academy.
Alpha Academy getting the win and the championship's back. Rod, who you got in this one?
For me, it's between Alpha Academy and Street Profits because you know that I feel that we are headed towards a Randy Orton and Riddle breakup here, right? I really just think that we're about to play that up. I don't see any reason why you haven't made this big deal about the Viper talking about this is my friend. I'm having such a great time, right? There's no reason for the Viper to do all that only to be stabbed in the back by Riddle, who hopefully will show up with his haircut and he will stop saying bro and stop coming down on a scooter because it'll just be a phenomenal gimmick for a little while. I'm still sticking to that, Jimmy, until I'm proven wrong.
Okay, I'm going to prove you wrong. RK Bro's going to win. They're going to get a huge reaction, and then later on in the summer they're going to break up. But I think RK Bro gets the win here.
I'm going with Chris because I never made my pick. I'm going with Chris. Give me the Alpha Academy because for some reason Vince McMahon hates the Street Profits.
Yeah, they're too good. That's why. So we have the most stupendous main event in WrestleMania history. The biggest match in all of sports entertainment and professional wrestling history. We have Brock Lesnar as the WWE champion versus Roman Reigns as the Universal Champion in a winner-take-all unification match for probably 2 or 3 months. The winner gets both belts. Chris, is it Brock Lesnar or is it Roman Reigns?
So I'm not a fan of either one of these guys. I was not a fan of Lesnar, not a fan of Roman Reigns. From what I have heard, especially mostly from you guys, Roman Reigns is not, for some reason, as big of an attention getter and fan favorite or heel one way or the other that WWE would like him to be. I'm going to say Lesnar gets it for at least a couple months. So Lesnar wins.
So Lesnar is going to be the unified champion and just rain chaos over the WWE. Rod, you know how you and I always hate Roman Reigns and don't think he's doing anything well, like Chris said. Who do you got on this one, Rod?
I mean, this is just a case of you and me, knowing a little bit more. But there's just no possible way they're gonna have the unified champion be somebody like Brock Lesnar who shows up sparingly. Like, there's just no possible way they're gonna do that, right? Roman Reigns is a worker. He's reliable, right? He might not wrestle all the time, but Roman Reigns is gonna be there and show up and do something for you. So I think Roman Reigns wins here. I really think they are going to try to have Roman Reigns have the longest ever title reign, right? Like, they just recently have started teasing that too with Bruno Sammartino and Hogan and all that stuff. So I think that's where we're headed here, right? I really do. I don't see Brock Lesnar winning this match.
In Brock's defense, he has been on a lot more, and he's having the time of his life. You can tell. He's just having fun being himself. Brock Lesnar will kneel before God. Roman Reigns will be acknowledged by Brock Lesnar because Roman Reigns will defeat Brock Lesnar and be the unified world champion because that's what he does. I'm looking forward to this match. I think it's going to be a fantastic weekend, and I think Reigns wins this one, Rod.
Greatness on a different level, right? I mean, that's where he's at right now. He's Chris, I think what Chris you were trying to say is fans sometimes don't buy into Roman Reigns that much, and he certainly had that for a lot of his career. But as far as like everything the WWE wants him to do right now, Roman Reigns is pitch perfect on that. And I think he's even starting to get some of the crowd coming his way. So, Jimmy, let me ask you that. Are we going to try to change the tribal chief gimmick within this championship, or is he going to continue heel the whole entire time, right? Or is the way that they freshen it up where they start to tweak the story and then Roman Reigns becomes more of a crowd favorite and there's somebody else who's against him?
I think they're gonna go heel for a while still. That could happen because they obviously want him to be the big babyface merchandise seller. But he's doing such a great job as a heel now. Why would you take that away? They're going to take it away. He's going to be a babyface, aren't they?
But it's real easy. It's real easy to be able to do it, right? Like the Usos turn their back on him, right? But then somehow Reigns still wins. You know what I mean? And then like all of a sudden he starts to curry favor with people a little bit more, right? And then like you just get this big consortium of guys, like kind of the way that the Shield rose up, like 3 against everybody, right? What if you get a whole bunch of everybody versus Roman Reigns, right? Like that'd be some interesting story to tell coming out of WrestleMania.
It could be. It could be for sure. I think the story out of WrestleMania is they're going to have a rematch at WrestleMania Backlash between Reigns and Lesnar.
Well, of course, but you say that doesn't really count, though. We talked about that last year for Backlash, right? It's always just like a weird redo that almost doesn't even count in the overall story of the WWE universe.
So that could happen for sure. Chris, how do you think you did on your picks, buddy?
I think I did as well as anybody could expect.
And with that, we will be back next week with our WrestleMania recap. We'll have Chris back on. We'll talk about all the great things that happened, some of the weird things that might have happened. We'll talk about the Hall of Fame, which we haven't mentioned yet. Undertaker going into the Hall of Fame along with Vader, Sharmell, and the Steiner brothers. And there's somebody else I think I'm forgetting. But
I was going to say so much for your prediction of nobody else going into the Hall of Fame with the Undertaker.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do? I don't ever listen to me on predictions.
He's big enough for the whole class.
All right, I am here with the man, the myth, the legend. They call him Jay Fly. Jackson James, you are in the house. Are you ready for WrestleMania, bud?
Sure.
All right, so we're going to go over night 1, and then we're going to go over night 2 as well, and we're going to see who we think's going to win, okay? So the first matchup, we're going to talk Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Who do you think's going to win this one?
I think Ronda Rousey's going to win this one.
You think Ronda Rousey's going to win? Why do you think Ronda Rousey's going to win?
Because she's beat Charlotte Flair in the past.
Oh, okay, fair enough. What about Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship? Now, on Raw, Bianca cut Becky's hair because Becky wanted to cut Bianca's hair, but that didn't happen. So who's going to win, Becky or Bianca?
So I think Becky's going to be mad, but Bianca's strong, and so she's probably going to win.
Bianca's going to win. Okay, all right. Rey and Dominic Mysterio versus The Miz and Logan Paul. Who's going to win that match?
I think the Mysterios are going to win.
The Mysterios are going to come back and win that? Okay. Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin with Madcap Moss. Now, we've seen a lot of this lately. Do you think McIntyre is going to win, or do you think Happy Corbin's going to continue being kind of undefeated?
I think that McIntyre could beat him because McIntyre can easily just Claymore him and then end the match.
So Claymore and then over, right? Okay. A big matchup here. The Usos versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs. I don't do it as good as Rod does, but Rick Boogs for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. Are the Usos going to win, or is Nakamura and Boogs going to win?
Well, I think the Usos might win, but here's the thing. The Usos aren't going to have Roman Reigns next to them, and that could be why also maybe that they're winning is because Roman Reigns might have been training them off camera to make them be, like, stronger, you know?
Okay.
But since they don't have Roman Reigns, because Roman Reigns is going to be on the second night, he might not be there, so that they might not get training, and Nakamura and Rick Boogs could win.
Who do you think's going to win then? You got to pick somebody.
Nakamura and Boogs.
Nakamura and Boogs. Okay. Now, Seth Rollins has a match. He finally got to WrestleMania. He asked Vince McMahon. He said, sure. Mm-hmm. But we don't know who he's going to wrestle. Who do you think he's going to wrestle, and who do you think's going to win?
So there's been rumors that Cody Rhodes is going to face him. So I think that Cody Rhodes could win.
You think Cody Rhodes is going to win? Mm-hmm. Okay.
If he's in the match.
If he's in the match. Okay, I agree. And then finally, the main event, the KO show. Kevin Owens is going to talk to Stone Cold Steve Austin. What do you think's going to happen in this match? Or in this talking segment?
I think that Owens might get a little too overcarried, and then Stone Cold's just going to get mad, and then they're going to start fighting.
And who's going to win?
Stone Cold.
And what's he going to do to Kevin Owens?
Stunner.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
How dare you?
Yes, he is.
You're my son.
Yes, he is.
Oh. Okay, so that's night 1. Are you excited for night 1?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, night 2. Lots of stuff going on. We just found out Almost undefeated, destroys everybody, is going against Lashley. Who's going to win that one?
So, if you watched Raw this past time, then you saw that Lashley actually knocked down Almost, and he's the first competitor to do that. But the thing is, Almost can easily just crush him, and then Almost could win.
Okay. RK Bro versus the Street Profits versus the Alpha Academy. Triple threat, titles on the line. Who you got?
It's a tornado tag.
No, I believe it's the... I don't know. I do not know the answer to that question.
I think maybe that the Street Profits could win, but the Alpha Academy wants their titles back so they could win.
So you think Alpha Academy's going to win?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory. Thoughts?
So, McAfee has been in a war game.
Okay.
But Austin Theory has been wrestling maybe a little longer than him.
Okay.
And Theory is good, but McAfee is a little bit better. So I think McAfee's going to win.
McAfee's going to get the win. All righty. Sami Zayn and Johnny Knoxville. Uh-oh. This is going to be crazy. Who's going to win this one?
I think Johnny Knoxville could win because he showed power in the Royal Rumble.
Oh, okay.
Against Sami Zayn, and then, of course, Zayn threw him out.
I think so. Okay. Carmella and Queen Zelina versus Sasha Banks and Naomi versus Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan versus Natalya and Shayna Baszler. 4-way women's tag team championship match. Who you got?
I think either Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan or Shayna Baszler and Natalya.
You gotta pick one, Skippy.
Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan.
Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. Okay. We have Edge versus AJ Styles, which I think is going to be an amazing matchup.
I think that Edge is going to pull it out and win because AJ might go for the phenomenal forearm and then Edge is just going to spear him out of nowhere.
Really? Oh, so he's going to go for it, jump off, spear, 1, 2, 3, it's over? Okay. And then, in the most stupendous, biggest WrestleMania main event in the history of WrestleMania main events, we have Brock Lesnar versus the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, winner take all, title for title. Who you got?
So if the Usos are on with Roman, if Roman gets knocked down, the Usos might come into the ring and start interfering and get into Lesnar, and then they could just and then when Lesnar turns around, Roman could spear him. But if the Usos aren't there, I think that Lesnar could pull it out.
So who you got?
Lesnar.
Okay, so you have Lesnar winning that one. Are you excited for day 2? Mm-hmm. What match are you most excited about for WrestleMania?
The main event.
The main event? The most stupendous main event in the history of main events? Okay, so there you have it. Jackson James, he gave his predictions. Is he going to be right? Is he going to be wrong? Is he going to do better than me? Probably. Is he going to do better than Rod? Probably. Is he going to do better than Chris? Oh, he better do better than Chris. Chris doesn't know anything. So we will see what happens. Thanks for coming on, bud.
Okay.
So with that, you've been listening to the Yeah We Know podcast, part of the Morgan You Know podcasting network. You're in the ring with Jimmy and Hot Rod.
Well, WrestleMania is sort of the end and then beginning of new arcs, and we are going to have a couple of new things ahead on the Yeah We Know podcast. We're going to have a new recurring segment and maybe, just maybe, another appearance from an old friend. Stay tuned.
Chris, take us home.
Goodbye, Internet.